Hello and welcome to the Property Manager as Guest. My name's Leo Walton. In this week's episode, we chat with Lauren Madewell of Ante Bellen's Cabins in Tennessee. Lauren talks about the importance of offering hospitality to guests, hosts and staff, and how to get ahead of bad reviews using humour in guest communications. We also learn why she would never work with homeowners who might put too much strain on her staff. There's more with Lauren in this week's episode of the Property Manager as Guest. Hi everyone, welcome to the Property Manager as Guest. I'm very excited today to have my friend Lauren Madewell with us. Lauren is based all the way over there in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, which just sounds so brilliantly exotic. Lauren, if you don't know her, although you probably do, is the operations manager for her family business, which is Ante Bellen's Cabins, based over there in the great state of Tennessee. Lauren, thanks for being with us today. How are you?
I'm superb. Like I was telling you, I had a great weekend because we had a Dolly Parton themed rhinestone festival over here over the weekend, and I got to dress up and have a good time.
So that was down in Knoxville. Tell me a little bit about Knoxville. It sounds like a wonderful place.
Yes. So Knoxville is like a proper little city, about 45 minutes from the Smoky Mountains. So from Pigeon Forge, where I am here, which is where we have our cabins. Cabins are in Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, Tennessee, over here in the Smoky Mountains. But yeah, Knoxville is about 45 minutes away, just right up the highway or interstate, whichever way you want to take. And it's a little city. It's like a little oasis in the rural South. East Tennessee is a very rural area. We've got a great food scene. We've got a great drink scene. It's a historical city. The railroad runs right through it. So, history is built all around that. And it's kind of a nice getaway, Knoxville, from the tourism of Pigeon Forge.
Lauren, how did you get started in the short-term rental industry?
I feel like I got started the way that most people do. It wasn't on our radar at all. And, it just was like a shove in that direction at some point. But my dad's cousin, Shannon, she founded this cabin rental business back in 1994. And then she owned it for 15 years. And when she passed away in 2009, she left it to my dad in the will. And we were actually living near Atlanta, Georgia at the time. And my dad decided to leave his job of like 20 years and go full time, taking over the family business because he fell in love with hospitality. I followed him after I graduated college with a degree in air traffic controlling, oddly enough. I knew I didn't want to do that, so I just followed him to Tennessee in 2011, and I've been with him ever since. And with the exception of one sabbatical about 10 years ago where I bartended for 6 months and then I didn't work for 6 months, I've been full on at Ante Bellen's Cabin Rentals and just slowly kind of working my way through each department and up the ladder. It's a family business, so it's not like a proper ladder, but just learning the whole thing.
I've heard a lot of stories about how people got into the industry. It's the first time I've heard that inheritance of a property management business is also a route in.
Yeah, because there's not many legacy vacation rental companies anymore, or there will be legacy ones, but those people are kind of getting their start now. So yeah, it's kind of neat, and we're celebrating our 30th year in business this year too.
Wow, congrats. What was the business you found in 2010, 2011 when you were getting involved? And how different is that business today in 2024?
Ooh, well, back then, when my dad took over, I think maybe like 10 or 15% of the bookings were done online. So it was still all over the phone or even through the mail. It was clunky. Software was clunky. The internet was clunky. Everything was on paper. It was a lot. And now we're like, I don't know how many phone reservations we take. My girls actually kill it with that, but we're 85% direct bookings. I don't know off the top of my head what percent.
Wow, it's amazing. Amazing.
Line that we are. And another big thing that has changed as well is just that at the time, the homeowners we were working with, it was like their family vacation homes. Like they were in town staying at their property. You were meeting them when they wanted to talk about joining your program. You were shaking hands. You were actually meeting these people. And these were their family vacation homes. You could feel that in the properties as well, sometimes for good, sometimes for bad. But anymore, even though I'm still working with all those homeowners, anymore when I'm talking to new homeowners, new potential homeowners to bring on, these are their investment properties. They may have stepped foot in it. They may not. They may plan to come visit. They may not. It might be their retirement plan or their kids' retirement plans, but like it's their investment property. And some of them fall in love with it and they want to take really good care of it. And some of them are just like, I don't, just make me money.
So many people call themselves property managers. I think in your area of the world, that's the truest sense, right? Because
Yes.
people are giving you the keys and saying, hey, make sure this place doesn't break and make sure it makes me money. Is it fair to say that's the case?
Yes, we are. This market, the Smoky Mountain market, is predominantly full service property management. Yes. In the past few years, because of COVID has blown the doors of this market wide open. Up until the past few years, it was all just professional property management. But now a lot of people across the country have, bought one or two cabins, properties, units built or whatever. And honestly, prices became so inflated during the COVID boom over here that these owners honestly cannot afford full service property management. So they've kind of taken the role of being a full-time host from afar. And I'm having conversations with a lot of them because they can't handle it anymore. It doesn't bring them joy anymore. It's become a full-time job, a second-time job. They want to make some change in their life where they just can't host it. They can't host anymore, but like they can't afford to sell at a loss either. So they're calling around to professional property managers to see like, can they afford any of us? And there are some companies in town, full service, who see that need in people and they're willing to do really low commissions. But with that model, especially in a market like ours, which is just a beast, when you're doing really low commissions, you're kind of no longer beholden to the homeowner or looking out for the homeowner's best interest. You are looking out for the guest's best interest because you're really making your money from the fees and stuff. And so things get a little crazy over here, but like I'm starting to talk to a lot of these people who have owned and hosted for the past few years, thinking like I can break into this market and be my own full service. And they're just realizing how hard it is from afar. We have an employment crisis going on in this country. I don't know if that's global or not. And then when you get into rural areas, especially in the South in this country, reliability and communication is strained. And so if you are trying to host your property from California, but you're relying on keeping your housekeepers on the ball, an inspector to keep your housekeepers on the ball, a maintenance man to service your cabin with your best interests in mind, with your budget in mind, and with your guest schedule in mind, is like next to impossible unless you're visiting this area frequently to maintain those relationships. And then too, a lot of the vendors in this area, they don't even really want to work with these individual hosts because they're not totally reliable and communicative. Like they like working with companies like ours because they know where to go to get their check. They know that you can read reviews on this company to see if they're worth working with. I find a lot of vendors in this area talking about how they prefer to work with property management or they dumped working with individual hosts and stuff. So like some people have bought, they're acting as their own hosts and they have managed to do a really good job. And in that way, I do consider them professional property managers, even if they just have one property or two, or maybe they're just looking out for a friend. If they're doing a good job and taking care of these guests by taking care of their investment and taking care of the people that work for them, if they're contributing to the community that they're capitalizing off of, like I consider them professional property managers and they're doing a good job and I praise them for it. But a lot of people just thought they could host in this market because there was so much money to make here, but they're realizing that they need professional property managers. And those are the phone calls we're starting to take this year.
You're obviously doing full management and leveraging local relationships to make sure that you can service your clients, your hosts in their market without them having to visit. What screams out to you? What's a real estate deal? What's an SDR deal that you just have to run to? What are the things you want to see before you agree to work with a host?
So I sit in a pretty privileged position being in 30-year business with like 125 properties and good Google standing to where I can go after truly what works for us. And it's not really, we know our bread and butter property. It's like anywhere from a 1 to a 6 bedroom, anywhere from like 5 to 40 years old, like middle America, salt of the earth people, blue collar people can afford these vacations. Like that's our bread and butter cabin. We don't go after luxury. I won't say no to luxury, but we don't go after luxury. And we don't go after homes, really. Like we're going for like cabins for the most part, because that's what people come here for. And cabins will never go out of style. The property doesn't so much matter to me as the homeowner matters to me. If they're coming from another property management company, how are they speaking about that property management company? Are they providing justified examples of why they want to leave, or am I detecting the red flag in this person? Do I feel like I'm going to be fighting for their trust, or do I feel like I'm going to earn their trust, with time? Because I don't expect it right out of the gate. And so I'm looking for somebody who wants to settle down on our program. And I feel like I have a long-term relationship with, who I can get to know so I can service their cabin and their guests perfectly. So it's not the properties really don't mean much to me. We know what's like a perfect for us, but we just did it last week and I'm not afraid to do it again. If that homeowner screams problematic, I don't care how perfect their property is, I'm not working with them. So for me, it's just homeowner. And it's kind of why we don't even have like a homeowner acquisition campaign going on right now, when so many of our competitors do, is because it's absolutely impossible to target a type of homeowner. All you can target is a type of real estate. And so we let our Google reviews speak to ourselves. We play that SEO game hard, so that we have good rankings on Google, so that when potential homeowners are deciding, I deserve better, and they start looking up cabin companies, property management companies in this area, we're going to rise to the top, and our Google reviews are going to speak for themselves. And by the time I have a conversation with them, we'll both feel each other out. And so it's the homeowner for us. And my sister, who also does property acquisition, and my dad would totally agree. I think my dad is more relaxed on what red flags are, but that's because me and my sister are the ones dealing with all the problems. Homeowners are really, really hard on your staff too. Like if you have coworkers or staff, like it's really hard on them and it wears them down, and they dread taking those phone calls, and it just chips away at a positive atmosphere, at balance. And it's just like your people deserve better too. It's a waste of emotional resources at a certain point.
I think that's a really good point, especially when you're trying to encourage your people to go the extra mile for the guests, right? You need them to be focused on providing in-stay experiences. Is that something you focus on?
Yeah, hospitality, this is something that we've maintained. Like when all of a sudden everybody was talking about STR and short-term rentals and VR and vacation rentals and property management and blah, 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 blah. It kind of made my heart hurt, because I was like, what we do is hospitality. Like you guys are just focused on like the bones of what we do, the actual property and blah, 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 blah. But like the hospitality is the heart of what we do. And we serve that on a platter in every possible way that we can. And the only way to offer genuine hospitality and kindness is to have the people working for you experience that in our own business model. Like I'm serving my people hospitality, I'm serving my people kindness, so that they kind of like shine out with that to our guests. You can't just fake it till you make it. I don't believe in that. And you can't just say, just talk with a smile on. Like I don't believe in that. Like their hospitality and kindness has to be genuine.
Yes. Happy kitchen makes better food, right? Happy
kitchen makes better food. That's absolutely right. So that's why I am quick to to turn down certain types of homeowners because I can't have them compromising our brand by compromising that positivity and the happiness of my employees.
How wide is your reach? How many miles apart are your furthest away cabins from one another?
So the bulk probably at most, and it's largely a straight line here, is probably like 10 to 12 miles away. And that's distance wise, but like that can take forever on these rural roads and these mountain roads and with this traffic. But yeah, like I would say just about any cabin is probably the furthest cabin is probably 10 to 12 miles from one another. And it makes but we're like, if this is our business in the center, we're like 5 to 8 miles to any given property. So it makes our zone pretty big.
Also coming up in this week's episode, Lauren Madewell of Ante Bellen's Cabins in Tennessee talks about the industry-wide shift towards hospitality and how a video of her in a bear costume dramatically improved the way guests leave cabins upon checkout. Do you think it would be possible to deliver this high level of hospitality if you went to a wider scope, or is it this idea of being local to one region that allows you to deliver at such a high level?
I would like to think on this more honestly, but I think being here with all of our properties within reach, any one of our employees our reservations team can go to our properties and check them out themselves so that when people are calling with questions about these properties, they've been there, they know it makes sense. Directions make sense. If a guest is calling and they're a little bit lost because GPS doesn't work well, our reservations team has been there. Where are you right now? They can reroute them without even having to pull up Google Maps sometimes. And then just if a guest calls and they, they're just like, the toaster went out, boom, we've got them a toaster. Like, if they want to complain about something, well, there's an office they can come to, and they can confront us in person if they want. Or if they're the type that doesn't like to do things digitally, they can come to the office and do everything in person. I think this level of hospitality and guest experience that we offer is really only possible when you're here.
If you were going to think about expanding it nationally, is that something that's ever come to mind, like having growing different pods in different parts of the country, or are you guys Tennessee and that's how it is?
We have never talked about anything else, Tennessee, and that's how it is, I think. And this industry changing so fast, everything's changing so fast, and just in America, God, like every 4 years, things are changing. That like it's hard to keep a lid on it all from here, we're constantly busy here. We're constantly kept on our toes. It's constantly draining us or like reinvigorating us. Like I can't imagine being in multiple markets. And I just don't like, I love what I do because I love the people I'm surrounded with in this building. We get to be with each other. I will lose that. Won't have that with other branches. And then it just won't be our brand. It just won't.
What do you love about being in the short-term rental industry?
I love the hospitality. I love that the work we do is really pretty straightforward. You can work with your hands. You can make a bad situation good pretty quickly. And then just people they work so hard for that money and so hard for that time off and they need a vacation, and I'm able to give them that vacation. It's just such a special thing. And it's such a and hospitality, it's such an ancient, industry and line of work. And I don't know, it just feels like I'm doing old work, doing timeless work, and giving people a really good thing. Like negative people will drag you down and they make quite a dent, but like largely what we're doing is just a whole lot of good,
It's making people smile, isn't it? Enjoy your holiday, enjoy your break from stress and whatever you're trying to get away from, or time with your family. If we do it right, you walk away happy.
Yeah. Yeah, we're accommodating family reunions and anniversaries and weddings and honeymoons and church groups and sports teams and people's last vacations. You hear about that all the time, and you're just giving people goodness, and that's why we take um, being the cleanest, being the most well maintained, being the nicest so seriously because people deserve that. They really, really do.
Do you think as an industry we're doing that hospitality part well enough?
I see everybody learning and moving in a positive direction all the time. All the time. 20 the end of 2020 and 2021 were really jarring because that's when you saw people flooding into the market just wanting the piece of the pie, just wanting to make money. And so you saw a lot of like who wolves and vultures and stuff in 2021. But since then, when people realized how hard this industry is and how particular people are on vacations because they deserve to be, because they know they deserve better, that's when people started thinking like, whoa, 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 how do I do this better? How do I do this better? And kind of perfect timing, our industry, I saw a massive collective shift towards hospitality right around 2022, and I've just seen everybody make better efforts since then. And the people who aren't focused on hospitality, I'm just kind of seeing them be left behind or smoked out or pushed by the wayside. And I'm just really impressed. I even think like Airbnb's done a decent job of improving its hospitality to a degree. It's hard for me to say that, but I genuinely mean that. We've been working with them for a while now, and I've seen them make really impressive changes to be better to work with for the hosts, which really is the long game. They were very guest centric, which, that's the way you got to start out in a capitalist society with their business model. You got to start out guest centric, but the long game, the Airbnb's like sustainability is going to be in how they treat the hosts. And so I've seen them turn around and start giving more hospitality to the host, which is going to give more hospitality to the guests. And so, yeah, I think our industry is doing a good job. Still a lot to learn, but I think we're doing a good job.
Yeah, I think maybe there's a realization as well that we're trying to tempt people out of hotels and into properties. So, we need to try and mimic better, if possible, what that hospitality experience is in a hotel or a resort. This idea that you don't turn up to your vacation rental cabin or property by the sea, whatever it is, and be told that you have to make your own bed, or or that it's just a bit sorry looking in the communal areas. Right? We can do better as an industry, and the more we raise the standard, the more we'll tempt people who never would have considered staying in a short-term rental into the industry, and that's only good for us as an industry. I also think that. So, do you think making the experience as personal as possible to the guest is the key to 5-star reviews and guest-centric experience? Where are you at on that?
I don't know if like personal as possible is the right word, but just as informed and enjoyable as possible. So on check-in day, we send the guest. We're like, hey, it's check-in day. Here's some helpful check-in information. And it's a link to a video that I made talking about check-in day. And like, as hard as we try to be perfect, it's just not possible. So if you get into your cabin and, maybe you find a bug, or maybe like the oven's not working or whatever, just give us a call. Like, that's what we're here for. We're going to come take care of it for you because we want you to have the best day ever. Right. And so it's not particularly personal, but it is personable, and it's giving them a face to the business. I'm in a cabin when I'm doing it. So some of them are going to recognize that as their own cabin. And then, it's getting ahead of the people who are like, well, this wasn't perfect, so I'm going to get my money back and just tell us at the end, or just add it in a review. It gets ahead of that to say, we do try to be perfect. We're not. Just let us know. We're going to come make everything better for you. So it gets ahead of the complainers. It gets ahead of bad reviews. It gets ahead of like, we can't fix what we don't know about. but it does it in a really humorous, personable way. And maybe you did say the word personable. I don't know. But
No,
like,
I didn't. I said personal, and you corrected it. I think in a really really smart way.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is very thoughtful, isn't it? It's a very thoughtful way to start the experience.
And because we offer virtual check-ins, like there's a lot of people who are never going to see us otherwise. And so it just, because I'm wearing a ball cap and it has our logo on it that they've already seen and everything else that's branded, it just allows them to meet us. And so maybe if somebody is typically a keyboard warrior, well, we've kind of had an interaction to a degree. So maybe it will cut back on the intensity with which they would be like a keyboard warrior, you know? And then two, we have a checkout video that I do in a bear costume. And what that was doing was it's reminding them that checkout is tomorrow. And again, a very humorous way and just normal, personable way. So like just takes the edge off of things, but it's getting ahead of the people who are like, I can't believe I'm paying a cleaning fee and I have this checkout list. I'm doing it in the bear costume to show it's not a cleaning list. It's a checkout list. Close the blinds, turn the thermostat down, put the lid on the hot tub, like very basic things, you know? And so it's gotten our cabins to be in a better condition at checkout. People aren't forgetting that they're checking out anymore. And it just has totally cut back on, again, the people complaining that like, I can't believe I'm having to do this when I paid for a cleaning fee.
I love that.
And
I love
yeah,
that. So you can actually track the improvement in how people check out.
yes, yes. I did it pretty early on in the craziness of vacation rentals. And so we were just packed. I mean, absolutely packed. And you would think that with more reservations, the likelihood of mistakes goes up. But once we launched those videos, more reservations, things just continued to improve from a time when where we weren't so busy. I've made it a YouTube video so that it's just a link that we send them. So too, like I can see how many people are watching it, and like it perfectly coincides with check-ins. Like people are watching it. It's great. And then we send it in a text message, and you know, text is so casual. That's text messaging is such a way to form a good relationship with your guests because it makes people accessible, but they respond on their time. And it's just casual. So like people will respond back and they'll be like, oh my gosh, effing love it, or that's hysterical, or you know, whatever. They're just interacting with you now. And then they send back little funny things too.
That's great. So you've broken the ice, right? So that's the key. You send that, and then it's like you're texting a buddy, right? It's like you're just casually talking to someone that you know already.
Yeah, we want to make you comfortable with us. Like you're so far from home right now. Like you deserve to feel comfortable. You know?
Yeah, you feel important.
If they're calling the office with questions about our portfolio, if they're texting the office or doing the chat feature, like my girls are just trained to just talk to them like you would talk to friends and family. Like use the LOLs, use the emojis, like joke with them if you think they're like that. Like just have a good time. So yeah, we're starting it before the first booking. That's for sure.
Lauren, you clearly love the industry. You clearly love your team and your market. It's amazing to listen to your stories about it. So maybe you don't have an exit strategy, but lots of people do. Are you STR for life, or is there a 10-year plan? Where are you?
I think I'm STR for life. I sure hope so anyway. I would love to be.
So you're building something for the long term, right? It's that slow, steady. Let's do it properly, right?
Oh, absolutely. And we're very old school in that way, I would say. And we believe in regular raises and bonuses, and we offer our employees full health benefits. We match up to a certain point on retirement plans. Like we are setting our people up for success, for health, for wellness, so that they feel comfortable and confident spending their days with us. And together we are all more knowledgeable and happier and giving our guests a better experience. And so if we're just, continuing to build that legacy brand and you just focused on being here for longer, we're just going to keep getting better and better at what we do, and like just enjoy what we do even more. So no exit strategy over here. And the market is, we've got so many property management companies over here that like, I can't predict the future. And if God had a different plan for me, I'd still have options.
Interesting. I love this focus on being better, not necessarily like, oh, we need to grow tenfold, right, to be profitable. It's like, no, we want to be better. Sure, there'll be growth as well, but we want to be better at what we do, and that's what's getting you excited about it. It's very cool.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that you can be better when you keep your inventory limited and, finite. Yeah, we're at 125. I think we always said we would cap at 150, but like, I think if we were to get anywhere over 135, we'd have to hire another employee, which would be fine. But then you're kind of bringing yourself back down to where you are right here. And people are such a huge component of what we do that if you introduce the wrong person, it throws the ship off balance. You compromise things, you compromise operations to a degree. And that might sound dramatic, but any single one of y'all know, you add the wrong person into the bunch, man, it could change everything. It can change absolutely everything. So I don't know. We like to stay our size. This is a very good size. It allows for really good owner relationships, guest communication, and allows us to stay on top of our properties maintenance-wise.
Love it. Love it. Lauren, it's a stressful industry. We all know that. How do you blow off steam? How do you get away from it?
I love a good couch day. I take being lazy very seriously sometimes through passion of mine to just chill on our massive sectional and just like binge watch. What are we on? We started the House of Dragons over again because there's a new season coming out. RuPaul's Drag Race, Top Chef. We love Top Chef. Recently started getting into Vanderpump Rules, which is so trashy. And so, after a bad day, just exactly what you want to watch, So I guess I unwind with the couch, a little reality TV, and then, of course, love a good wine or cheap beer.
Love it. Love it. I mean, looks like you and I are doing pretty much the same thing at the end of the day. We're big RuPaul fans in our house.
Awesome.
It's been so nice talking to you. We could talk all day, but thank you for sharing your insights. It's been great to get to know you and your business a little better.
I appreciate you having me so that I can share. I love what I do and happy to help anybody in any way.
So thank you for listening. Also, follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram @Superhog for more useful and educational information. If you have any questions or would like to be featured on a future show, get in touch with us in the comment section below. And if you've enjoyed the show, please share our podcast with someone you think may enjoy it too. Goodbye for now.